Welcome to the Closure tutorial. Closure is a very easy topic in JavaScript, but for some reason people get confused in it. Maybe one of the reason is that those who teach these topics teach it in extremely complicated manner. They give difficult examples and use cryptic languages, and that is why people get confused in Closure. Otherwise, it is extremely simple and there's nothing confusing in it. So let's try to see it through simple examples. um, I expect that you know the topics like lexical scoping and the difference between keywords like war and let. If you do not know that, then still you can watch this video and hopefully you will be able to understand this. But if you don't, then you cannot complain about it, because these two are the topics that are required to understand Closures. If you don't understand, then you should go watch those videos and then again watch this video, and hopefully you will be then able to understand Closures. There's not much difficulty in this topic. So for those of you who don't know about lexical scoping, let me spend few minutes to explain what it is. So if I define a variable here, say str, and initialize that with hello, and inside the block here I try to access that variable, then I will be able to access it, because anything defined outside the block will be visible inside the block. Here hello, but let's do the opposite, and here let's define a new variable, and now let's try to access this variable from outside the block, and this time this will not work. Because we are trying to access something that's defined inside the block from outside, and that is not possible. I think I've not saved it. And we get an error. See, str new is not defined. It's defined here, but it is not visible here. You can think of it in this way. Anything that is of parent is available to children. This is children. This is a child of the global scope. So anything that is of parent is of children, but anything that is of children is not of parents. This is how you should understand it. So in the block, this str new was defined, but it is not available outside here to the parent. This concept of lexical scoping has a very important part in the Closure, and you will see why. So let's just dive into the concept of Closure with some very simple example. I define a function, or maybe a number. I call it first number, and I give it a value of 10. And I also define another variable called, say, add. And now inside this block I initialize add with a function, and then function will be, and that function takes a parameter called second number, and now this thing returns first number plus second number. And okay, uh, let's try to now run this. What you think, what should be the result of it, of this program? Oops, there is some issue here. It now returns its return. Okay, now if we run this, what should be the answer? In my opinion, since this first number was visible here also, and that is why it should be 10 plus the second number that we gave here, 20. So 10 plus 20 should be 30, and that's is the answer. What if I give it the first number a new value, maybe 15? Now the answer should be 20 plus 15, 35, and that's what the answer is, 35. Now let's redefine this first number here to 20. Will it change something? Let's try. And this is 40. This time it is 40, even when the first number is 15. Now think about it for a minute. We first created a variable called first number that is initialized to 10. Then we have this add in the global scope, and that add is equal to the function that takes a second number and that returns first number plus second number. Now what this first number is, this one or this one? So obviously, because first number is defined in this scope, first number is also defined in this scope, that is why this first number is 20 right here. Since first num is available in local scope, therefore it will use the local scope variable. It is 20, not 10. So this first number here is this one. Now this is the important part of closure. Since the JavaScript language knows that this add is defined in a global scope and will be available outside this block, and it also knows that this first number is defined inside the scope, and it will not be available when this add will be used. When at the point when this add was used, this first number was already gone. It was already gone because it was executed here, used here, and then gone. But by the time we use this add, we again require this first number, but it is gone. Therefore JavaScript decided to conserve this number. It somehow conserved this number, and we can see it here. We put this 20 here, and 20 will be used here, and now the conserved number, first number, is used here. So 20 plus 20, and that returned 40. This process of conserving some numbers is called closure. Let's see this process of conservation again with another example. Let's do a for loop. and let's print the value of I here. After 5 seconds or 1 second maybe. And you can see it prints 0 1 2 3 4. Why did it print that way? This we used let here, which means this I will be visible only in the for loop, and it will take hardly few milliseconds to run this for loop. Computers these days are quite fast, so it will be completed in just few milliseconds. So this for loop was completed, but the set time was about to run after one second. So by the time the set timeout will be run, this I will not be there. This I will be gone. And that is why JavaScript decided to conserve this I. Every time it ran this method set timeout for 5 times, for I is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So for 5 times when it ran this method, it decided to conserve this I. First time it conserved I is equal to 0, then 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4, and that is why we are saying this. What if we use var? We know that var makes it global. Var makes the I global, so we can, in fact, if I do here console.log I, then it will be visible here. Variable I will be visible here because we used var. Had we used let, it won't be visible. Because we are using var, JavaScript does not feel the need to conserve it. And what will happen as a result? Let's see it ourselves. We get 5 5 5 5 5, all 5. Why we get all 5? Because the last value we get all 5, because the last value of I was 5. In fact, what we can do here, let's do this. I is equal to, let's say, 23. So by the time the set timeout will run after 1 second, I will have 23 in it. And we can see 23. So JavaScript did not feel the need to conserve the value of I in this case, because JavaScript knew that this variable I will be alive when this will be run. But in the previous case, when we used let, it felt the need to save the value of I, because JavaScript knew that this I will not be available after this for loop is gone, right? In this case, I can show you that this I is not available. It might give an error or undefined. Let's see. And we get an error here because this I is not available with let, and therefore we get an error. And JavaScript save the value of I, and we see this kind of property. Now let's do another example. Let's do this one. Let add is equal to I have defined a variable add that is a function and that takes first number, and it takes first number and returns another function that takes second number and that will return first number and second number, the addition of first number and second number. So if I run these two lines, then I pass here the first number is 5, and this first number JavaScript knew that after this is executed, first number is defined only in this scope, and after the first number will after this is executed, this line is executed, the first number will be gone, but this add will stay, and when the add will be used, this first number will not be available. It will not be available because it is already gone. That is why JavaScript decided to conserve this first number. The first number is 5, so 5 will be conserved, and here 6 will be conserved. So let's now if I add 10 here, pass the second number as 10, then and here let's see this. We can see here 10 plus 5 is 15 and 10 plus 6 is 16. So JavaScript decided to conserve them because it knew that it will not be available. It will not be available, and that is why it conserved it. So now you know what is closure. The closure is nothing, it's just a JavaScript way to conserve some of the variables because the JavaScript knows that they will not be available by the time we will need them. So it conserves them, and that is called closure. So that's all for this video, and I hope that you understand the concept of closure. It's not at all difficult, just a way of JavaScript conserving some values, some variables. Thanks for watching this video.